Si quelqu'un m'entend, s'il vous plaît, envoyez de l'aide. Ceci est le citoyen 43. Envoyez de l'aide. Je répète, envoyez de l'aide.
Welcome to Must Be Nice. This is your host, Evan Mumford, and we are on episode number 14. This episode has my friend Alistair Ogden. He's bringing journalism to the city, which I am so excited for. I think it's going to be perfect. Alistair's a really funny dude. He is a stand-up comedian, and he just kind of made the move to Vancouver from Victoria recently to be a fancy-dancy, full-time stand-up. And I foresee that it's going to work out well for him. Very funny. Now, you might be asking, there hasn't been a podcast in a while, and I truly apologize. I could blame it on a number of things, but I'm not. I could blame it I'm too busy. It's not really true. I could say it's too much work. It's not. It's stuff I really like doing. It's probably like the one of three things in my life that isn't a self-destructive behavior. So I'm gonna keep going. I've already recorded future episodes, and I'm really excited to share them. And I'm glad I'm back. We're back, baby. Is that a thing? The music tonight is incredible. It's by White Poppy, and the song is Hypnotized. It's off her album, The Pink Haze of Love. You can find it on Bandcamp, wherever you want to go. I actually met White Poppy, or Crystal, at a talk panel show we did about anxiety with a few other people, and it was very interesting. It was a cool event put on by Condition Human. They're trying to do this traveling discussion panel about mental health, which I think is critically important. As far as shows I should promote, I'm going to promote Ratfish Comedy at the Fringe Festival. We do our first show this Thursday, and it's at the Roxy Theater. We're doing a string of 7 or 8 shows. Roxy on Quadra. It's going to be a really cool thing. If you like stand-up, if you like roast battles, if you like improv, it's going to have all these elements. And even each show is going to pull a couple people from the audience if they want to try it for the first time. If you're a Fringe person and you go to all the shows, definitely check out Ratfish Comedy at the Roxy. It's going to be a blast. And you can also just go to a single show. You don't have to buy the whole Fringe package, of course. That's all on the website there. But I'm looking forward to that's coming up. What else is new? I have Must Be Nice business cards, which are really exciting. I've been kind of guerrilla marketing them around town. I go around, I throw them in bars, and I give them to people. And I kind of hide them sometimes. If you ever find a Must Be Nice business card, feel free to take a photo of it, send it to me. And you can't really win a prize because I don't have anything to give, but just feel free to shout it out. That's all. Let's just get into the episode. Episode number 14. Alistair Ogden. Journalism. Let's do this.
Science fiction, give me science fiction. Science fiction, give me science fiction.
Hello, citizens. Welcome to this week's broadcast, and we are building. We're building many things in this city, and one of them is trust between you guys and me. I'm the mayor, and I'm a truthful man. I want to be open about everything. I want to write my diaries, and I want you guys to read my diaries and print my diaries, and it's going to be I think that'd be a good thing for all of us. But more importantly is there's this word dictator that's been kind of hastily thrown around. Yeah, as a joke, I'm sure. Jonas, I caught him saying it as a joke at the bar. But I don't like that word, Free press is a big thing in every democracy, I would say. I would say it is. I don't know. And because I don't know, I'm bringing someone to teach me. Someone I know from the old world who's a journalist. And oh my God, a journalist. A living, breathing journalist in my office. We are going to talk. We're going to talk some shit. We're going to cut this right to the core. Free press is real. We're going to discover what that means. What is journalism? Who is this guy in front of me? Alistair Ogden, right? Welcome. Welcome to my city. What are you bringing? Explain to me what you're bringing.
Like the brief, doomed flare of exploding suns that registers dimly on blind men's eyes, the beginning of the horror passed almost unnoticed. And the shriek of what followed, in fact, was forgotten and perhaps not connected to the horror at all. It was difficult to judge. The house was a rental, brooding, tight. A brick colonial gripped by ivy in the
Sorry, Alistair?
Yeah.
Hey! Welcome to my city.
Oh, thanks. I was just reading this cursed copy of The Exorcist.
Oh, hey, don't. Yeah, that's our Bible.
Oh, okay.
Alistair, I'm in a great mood. I'll be frank with you.
Mhm.
I've been eating healthy, walking around, smoking. And I think things are going great. And I approached you because I know you are well involved in journalism.
Yes.
What is journalism?
That's a good question. I'd say, I'm not, although I do journalism, I'm maybe not a complete expert on the study of journalism.
Okay.
But for me, I would say it's the distribution of information. For me, it was writing articles for Victoria Buzz in the old world.
Articles for Victoria Buzz.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a proper man on our hands.
Is that what masculinity is in this?
Masculinity, that's a very good question, actually. Since we don't have sexuality,
Right.
we're not really peacocking, right? So the brain is the most masculine thing you can have.
I see.
Mine has muscles. Anyway, I find
You
it funny.
should probably get that checked out.
Brain muscles?
Brain muscles?
Yeah. It's always going to be lupus. I know it's going to be lupus. I'm so happy to have you here. Though it's funny, you say you're not an expert, then you give the most pretentious answer. Okay, so let's back this up. This is the new
Sure,
world. We
sure.
don't have Victoria Buzz. We don't know what that is. We don't really
Right.
care for it. But that is an internet. Would the internet journalism? Is there
Yeah.
paper?
No, there's no paper copy. It's very new media.
New
Yeah.
media? Okay. Do you like that?
You know what? If I was going to bring journalism, I would want it's kind of like old school journalism. I think would be good.
Pen and paper.
Yeah, in your city, not necessarily pen and paper, but some sort of distribution of
Kind of
like a newspaper.
like a Citizen Kane kind of situation.
Exactly.
Thank you. Okay, I do want to back it up a bit because I don't feel like we explained it enough. Think in layman's terms.
Mm-hmm.
Journalism. You're reporting on a subject with an opinion, or is it without opinion? Are you just strictly reporting on something, or is that reporting?
So I guess journalism encompasses both just objectively writing about things and opinions. You have an opinion section as long as you define that it's an opinion.
It
piece.
always does, right? This is
Yeah.
an opinion section.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's part of the problem with some of the news that's out there in the old world.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that'd be good to clearly define what's an opinion and what is strict.
Very true. But I think most people know opinion or not opinion section. Every journalist, the biggest flaw is that their weakness is going to come out. If they're left leaning or right wing, whatever, it's going to be present usually. Even documentaries, same deal.
Right. There's an angle. There's an angle on things.
Do you find that? Can you write objectively?
I think I can. I don't think you can ever write like truly objectively, but you can write in a manner that you show what each side of an issue is.
Right.
So as long as you rather than reporting from one side of the conflict, you report from both sides as best you can.
Okay.
And that's the closest you can get to objectivity.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever written about something you hate? Like maybe shirts that have neck holes that fit, or
That was a very funny joke for all of you.
This is great. So yeah, have you written about something that you felt that you couldn't help but get a little Alistair in the article?
I don't know if I have written about things that I hate necessarily. I mean, I wrote an article for the Martlet newspaper at UVic about the coverage of. You remember there was a mosque attack in Quebec?
Yes.
I wrote about how the sort of right-wing echo chamber reported on that story, and how once the information came to light that it wasn't some kind of like a terrorist attack in the way that they talk about Islamic extremism.
That's
it was
right.
it was an attack from a French Canadian person, like someone who like a white person, and on a mosque. It was an attack from someone who was involved in the alt-right. Once that information came to light, they didn't they would put like a correction at the top of their stories, but they wouldn't actually publish a new story. You know,
I understand.
So the people who read those initial reports saying, you know, with a bunch of sort of misinformation or vague information, could still have that idea in their head, or at least think, oh, maybe that's what it was, or they would just forget about it.
But you're talking about echo chambers, which the point of those, right? They don't go outside for information. Was that material being spread on a large scale? Like, was CNN reporting some alt-right stuff, or
No. So basically, if you look at like the InfoWars, Breitbart, Fox News, those type of places, they would report on the story, and they'd say they'd give information saying, oh, there was a report that the attacker screamed like Allahu Akbar, implying that he was Islamic himself, which wasn't the case.
Smoking. That's Jim Carrey's best picture, the mosque. I apologize for that. Okay, go ahead. Sorry. So they would report, they would identify, and they would kind of highlight the idea that this is an Islamic thing.
Yeah. So they reported that. Then they issued a correction to that, but they didn't actually write a follow-up story.
Okay.
Describing what actually happened. So people who would have read that initial information, you know, if you go through in the new world, you don't have social media.
No,
yet.
we do not.
But if you go through social media, you're very unlikely to read something and then go back to that later on, right? Because there's so much new stuff in your feed, right? So they would see that initial story. They wouldn't likely see the correction that was added to the story itself. And so they would just see the initial story and then not see anything, That's
terrifying. And that's something I would actually, though it didn't work the best in this case, I would give credence to the old world being so good with social media that you can update it so quickly. Think about like in the 60s, right? Whatever was happening, JFK was shot. You get the initial newspaper article. If there was a correction to be had, you wouldn't find out until X number of days later.
Yeah.
So that is something I appreciate about social media. The theory is there that you could edit properly.
Right.
But what you're saying, the one correction at the top, that's terrifying. Yeah, no one's refreshing the same article.
Yeah. Yeah, so
you wrote about that whole idea?
I wrote about how echo chambers affect the way we think, because I think right now people are having a hard time understanding each other in the old world. People on either side of the political spectrum, literally, if you talk to someone who's very right-leaning or very left-leaning, they actually don't understand why other people think the way that they do.
That's right.
Because the chambers of thought, these echo chambers, are keeping them so isolated, so they don't even see how someone could start to think a different way. Yeah. Which makes it really difficult to have dialogue.
Absolutely does. When you're just pounded with those facts, sexual. Of course, that came out sexual. I apologize. As I was speaking, but yeah, when you're giving that information so frequently, like those websites, Breitbart, Alex Jones, it's like that's all they do is like they scream at they must have like an orator. Like they don't type, right? They probably just scream at like a receptionist who's like, yeah. Those guys aren't ones to move the finger.
No, that's if I was going to bring that, I would not call that journalism.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah, that is it's essentially the opinion section gone rogue.
That's right.
So people who consume that kind of information, they're doing it to reinforce their own beliefs. Really. Yeah.
No, that's a very good distinction. I would not call it journalism at all. Theoretically, they are reporting on the matter at hand, but with this weird lean to it, changes everything. You wrote in university?
Yeah.
Which I'm sure is its own echo chamber within itself, right?
There is, obviously, UVic is very left-leaning. So
most universities, of course.
Yeah. So that's, but in terms of what we were actually, the opinion pieces would generally shift that way, but the reporting itself, ideally, people will disagree, but I thought the reporting itself was objective and,
pretty good.
Fact-checked, all that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it seems like you're fairly on board with this.
I'm on board, but again, I don't know how to place it in a world. Do I have like one dude? Do I have a bunch of people getting in a room together. What's the news of the week? And they release it weekly. I don't know how to present it in a new fashion.
People generally don't want to pay directly for journalism.
Yep.
So new media will do reporting, and then they'll also do a lot of what's called sponsored content. So companies will pay to have an article written,
Yes.
supporting whatever they were trying to sell. So you're saying, reasons you should check out this and so and so. And so those articles, it's a good way to make money for, so you could theoretically do that with, the brewery or,
okay.
So you could have the brewery making some money, and then they pay to have a sponsored article to get other people to
Sure.
partake.
So you would have this distribution aside. We would create a bit of a kind of like a zine, like a small booklet of thoughts.
Yeah, and so it would kind of be like you could either have it be straight. I would argue that straightforward advertising. You have to let people know when you're advertising that, because that's kind of an ethical problem that's being.
Oh, tell me about it. Like the subtlety in advertising.
Yeah.
I walked down the street yesterday. Today, I'm wearing tap-out pants. I was like, how did that happen? I guess I probably walked by a sign of like a guy punching a rock. I'm like, I'm buying a tap-out. Very interesting. But again, we're kind of polluting what I think journalism would be. We're polluting it with this economy.
Yeah.
The more I do this and build this world, I think the more I realize I want to live in a world without economy. What would a journalist report on in my city?
Well,
What's going on? There's nothing with me. I'm doing great.
Well, that's something that you could look into.
Yeah.
In fact, look into how the government is functioning.
I'm the
in your
government.
city. Exactly.
We're great.
Right.
We're great.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's always questions to be. I'm sure the citizens have questions.
Where do you get those pants? Yeah, I get it.
Where'd you get the bucks?
Yeah. They can ask those questions. I'll answer them.
So where did the bucks come from?
Well, the bucks came from pulp.
Pulp?
Pulp, like from trees. We made them out of trees.
Okay. So how do you assign value to them?
Well, it's quite easy. You have X number of pulp chips,
Right.
that are bucks, and they took a lot of work to do. I was there,
Right.
supervising the whole project. So each pulp chip was a buck,
Right.
and we did about 1 million of those pulp chips. And I, as the mayor, made the decision to attribute the bucks, the economy.
So how did you finance the creation of the bucks?
That's a very good question. I mean, then you're going to start asking me where to get the land, right?
I mean, that's also a question that could be.
These are questions that are fine to ask, but I think the answers are not fine to know. And then, look, that's just me being a cool guy. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, look, you had a sandwich today. Did you ask the chef where he got the bread? You just enjoyed that sandwich.
It's true.
Thank you.
Right.
That's what we're doing here. Look, your little journalist can certainly come around and ask me about my silk sheets, where I got those, and I'll tell them. But I don't want any of these questions. I never asked for that. I'm just looking to report on the Rathball games. I was thinking sports journalism.
Right. Of
I don't have
course.
to be involved at all. That's all I'm trying to say.
So we can do sports journalism.
Yeah.
We can talk about the brewery. We can talk about
How lovely the place is.
exactly. You can talk about how the what's being brought in on the helicopters.
Yes.
You can talk about
Maybe next week's shipment?
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be kind of
Let
nice.
people know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of nice. Next week's shipment. There'd be a list of all the seeds.
So there can be the reporting, just kind of filling everybody in on what's happening around town.
Is that journalism?
I would say so. Yeah.
Or is that reporting? Define each. What's the difference?
So, journal, obviously, the root word of journalism is journal itself. So
Right.
it's just documenting things that are happening, right? So the reporting is a part of that. So the journalism is compiling all of those reports into a journal. So whether that's a zine or a newspaper or online, it's basically just the compilation of the document.
Okay. Okay.
Right? So So whether it's something that's planned to happen in the future, something that's already happened, it's basically just a way for the citizens to communicate with each other sort of indirectly and to be communicated with. So
Okay.
if you wanted to announce anything, you could do that through the
Oh, I would love that.
newspaper.
I would love that.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, I have the broadcast the citizens listen to,
Right.
which are fine, but they can't take it home with them.
Right.
One
yeah.
time shot, right? You get a list of all the things that are happening, maybe a map of the city, what's happening, input section. I don't know. Email the editor.
Right. So I would argue the most important thing is to have the journalists and the journalist system be separate from the government, so that they can.
So I can't. What you're saying is I don't have an overwatch on this particular thing.
Right.
That terrifies me. And I find it interesting that you can come into my city and suggest such a brash. You came in here talking about some shit, some poetry shit. Look, I'm just entertaining this because I want to talk about Wrathball. End of the day, I want my citizens to know about the scores. I don't want them to be asked questions about government.
Right, but you also want to know. You want to make sure that the people playing Wrathball are in good shape.
Yes.
You want to make sure that they're not being injured. You want to see.
Yeah,
That's a part of the journalism too. The well-being of the city.
Do you think that is what journalism is in the old world? Do you really think so?
I would say that.
Do you think it brings us together?
I would say so.
Do you
yeah.
really think so? Yeah.
I think even with the right and the left, the people who flock towards those centers of people who read the New York Times or the Washington Post, they're engaging in a collective experience.
I agree. I mean, I see it as transformative in the way that, like, I think it's New York Times, Ronan Farrow with Harvey Weinstein thing, like that changed everything for a while.
Yeah.
And that to me is like awesome, perfect journalism. You're exposing this mass problem for everyone to see.
Right.
Very good. But outside of that, expose, which is something I don't need in the city because we don't have those problems. Everyone here is a good person.
Right.
So journalism without the expose or anything like that, it to me loses its cool and it becomes reporting.
So I feel like you're making a sort of a differentiation between reporting and journalism. I think those are one and the same thing, really. You say that everything is going well in your city right now, of course.
More or less.
As the city grows, as more citizens come into the city, you want to make sure that everything is okay. And of course, you might argue with this, but I don't think you can do everything all by yourself. Things may go wrong.
It's getting stressful. But what I like to do here is delegate.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. I can't control every inch of this city, but I got the Buck Boys to do so.
Right.
I've got Clamp Hands. He's my eyes and my feet.
Yeah.
Eyes and hands.
And
he's
clamps,
everything.
yeah.
Clamp Hands. Did you meet him?
I didn't meet him.
You didn't meet him?
No. Maybe I'll see if I can find him on the way out.
Oh, you'll find. Oh, track him.
Yeah.
Please track him down. You have to meet this man.
Yeah. Did he leave like a clamp prints in the
Clamp prints? Yeah. It confuses the hell out of everybody.
Yeah.
But I know exactly where he goes at all times. I can follow his route.
Okay.
He does a pretty good job at picking up cigarettes with the clamps.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of weird, kind of hugger.
Yeah.
Not a
Weird
good
hugs.
hug.
Yeah. I won't go. Handshakes can't be any better.
No, they're not great.
So
He's good at high fives.
really,
Strangely enough.
yeah.
I gotta say, man, you're such a friendly man, and I like everything about you. But I don't know if you're bringing it. You haven't sold journalism to me. I can't say I've gone this far without buying something. But this is crazy. I don't know if I want this, dude. The angles you're taking, the way you're looking at journalism, I just don't get it, man. I don't know why we need it. You haven't sold that at all.
Okay. Look, well, I want to thank you for having me on the
welcome.
podcast.
You're welcome.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you.
Appreciate that you called me friendly.
Yeah, you're very friendly.
Well, thank you.
Doesn't take you anywhere, but
Yeah. You're very friendly as well.
thank you.
Yeah.
I told that before.
Yeah.
Spiritual as well.
Yeah. Who told you that?
My friend.
right?
Jack.
Jack.
My friend Jack.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, it remains to be seen if he's real. But look, I'll see if I can do a better job of selling this to you. Okay?
I just think if you're so passionate about journalism, you'd have a bit more to say.
Right. Well, we can get into the nitty gritty.
Let's get into the nitty gritty.
Right. So I won't beat around the bush. I won't make out around the bush. But look, okay. Well, I think we should have a paper copy, like a newspaper of sorts. You know,
okay.
It doesn't need any bindings or anything. We don't need to. We'll just have a newspaper. You know,
Why do newspapers do that?
what? No bindings.
They're so bad in the wind.
I think it's just for cheapness. You know.
You really hole punch it, put some string through it.
I mean, how long would that take with one of those big printing presses?
I guess you got to get a printing press, small hands to do the work.
Yeah.
I just think newspapers, I love everything about them.
Yeah.
I used to deliver them for many years.
Yeah.
You get your stained fingers. You get ink fingers.
Yeah.
You walk down the street with one. You're losing usually the sports section.
Right. That's a good point.
I don't like the loose papers.
How windy is your city?
We're surrounded by beautiful mountains. It's been referred to as tropical.
Yeah.
Which is strange. We don't have a beach, but
Okay.
the citizens are referring to this place as tropical. Mm-hmm. Probably as like the idea that utopia is typically
Okay. So
tropical.
So we'll have a paper copy.
Yes.
You know, we can experiment with what works best price wise, what works best with, stains on fingers or blowing away into the wind. Sometimes when paper blows away in the wind, that can start a lot of movies. I feel like that's a common thing.
That's actually a good point.
Newspapers blowing around.
Yeah.
Cutscenes, movies.
Yeah.
So who knows? That could be a future. If someone wants to bring movies.
I'm on board with paper copy.
Yeah. What we can put in that is we'll have crew of, a few citizens, perhaps, who are looking for something to do with their days, who are maybe more writing inclined.
We do have creative writers in the city.
Exactly. So you can hire some of those people. They can go around. They can interview other people in the city, see what's going on, write the story. People love to have their stories told.
Absolutely.
We can put those in the paper, and we can have advertisements for the various businesses that exist and will soon exist. You could put birthdays. People could pay to have a little, happy birthday in the paper.
I should clear that up with you right now. I don't think I went over this with you. We don't have birthdays. We don't celebrate birthdays. We have one birthday, the birth of the city.
Okay.
Where we all get together each year.
Right.
But individual birthdays, because you were born in the old world, we don't care about that.
Okay.
It's kind of like a death name, a dead name, if you will. It's your dead date.
Yeah.
You're a new person once you come in here. So birthdays are antiquated.
Okay.
But I get what you're saying. I appreciate the gesture.
Well, perhaps when someone is a new citizen, that could be announced.
That's right. That's the idea.
So that's...
Right.
I mean, really, yeah, okay. So that makes sense. With obituaries, have you...
No one has passed yet.
Right.
We have this idea, if someone does pass, as soon as it may be, we don't have funerals. We have funerals.
Funerals, okay.
You celebrate the life of the person,
Yeah.
right? Instead of mourn them, this and that. Talk about the good times.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you could put that in the paper as well. So it's very, community based. And then, of course, you also want to have maybe a little bit of investigative journalism.
Investigative
so
journalism.
people going out there, they're seeing the secrets of the city, perhaps,
Like The Fugitive.
Uncover. Yeah.
Was it a good movie or not? Like that kind of.
Yeah, they can. I mean, do you have a DVD copy of The Fugitive?
I have the Harrison Ford.
Okay.
Fugitive. Yeah.
Okay. So someone could watch that. We could do reviews.
Oh, we could do reviews, movie reviews.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we carried a bunch of movies to the New World.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
The Mask, starring Jamie Kennedy.
Jamie
He did The Second Mask.
did he?
And no one really talks about it, but we in the city appreciate that movie.
Okay. Well,
The Mask 2, I believe it was called.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, you never saw it?
I did not.
You've seen the original Mask?
Yeah.
Smoking in the boys' room.
Smoking in a baby's face. That's
right.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Yeah.
smoking in the baby's face. I love it.
Yeah,
Love everything about it.
Yeah. Pretty Josh.
You've been meeting some folks.
Yeah.
Did you meet Jonas Tangle yet?
I did not.
Did you
no.
spend any time? What did you do today? Did you do anything?
Honestly, I just wandered around, tried to get a little bit of the lay of the land, but I didn't run. I can be kind of shy, you know.
You are shy. You creative types are often shy.
Yeah.
Which I find interesting. Yeah. That you're reporting on the world that you don't really entertain.
You know, that's. I think it's kind of offensive, but.
Hey, it is what it is. Creative types are weirdos, and we all agree. Now, I know I'm a creative type. I'm a creative type.
I mean, you created a whole city, so can't argue with that.
Thank you. And you know what's funny, Alistair? I'm glad you brought that up. I don't think people are talking about that enough. People are appreciate me as the mayor, but no one's really like giving me the thanks I really deserve.
Right.
Hey, thanks for creating utopia.
Right. So that could be another thing that we could put. We could have a series of interviews, more in-depth interviews where we talk to you. We write everything down. We go into the details of how you came up with this city. Where
that would be interesting.
Got, the bucks from, where you got the land from, things like that.
Oh, kind of like a report from like the country. Like your country is always like, hey, this is the update.
Exactly. Yeah.
What's that called? Opacity. You want some sort of.
Yeah, so exactly. So we could go into the details of how the city was created, you know, what the various, processes are like. Talk about clamp hands. You could
clamp hands, yeah. No, I'll talk about clamp hands.
Yeah.
I find it interesting, though, again, with the creative types.
Right.
You're always so concerned about the higher-ups, right?
Yeah.
Poking the holes in the Swiss cheese. Holes are there for everyone to see. Don't look any further, you know? I think the citizens in my city are more interested in, as you said, fun little reports,
right?
Wrathball updates.
So you're saying, people are poking the holes in the Swiss because the holes are. You're saying the holes in the Swiss cheese are there to see already.
That's an analogy I just made up.
Right. So, but what reporters can do, they can chop up that cheese, feed it to everyone.
It's strange. Don't do that.
Why not?
Swiss cheese. You keep it as a whole. You don't chop up Swiss cheese.
I mean, you just chop it into slices, ham and cheese sandwich.
Oh, I put blocks on everything. I've never had a cheese slice. I use cheese blocks on every single thing. Yeah.
Well, that's something that we can talk about as well.
Cheese blocks
in the newspaper.
We could talk. Oh, I could have a recipe section.
Exactly. Yeah.
We have seeds now, and
best way to
make a poutine.
Yeah, exactly. Best way to make a poutine with clamps.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna need some help, right?
Yeah, he needs a lot of help. Mostly at this point, it is traumatic stress he's going through.
Right.
So we need a counselor at some point.
Yeah.
Nothing you need to talk about in like a newspaper or anything.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, we could interview him, see how the work permit's going, you know?
You're welcome to, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be happy to talk to somebody.
That'd be great.
Yeah, generally no one really entertains him, so that'd be perfect, actually.
Maybe get to talk to him about is he getting paid, or is that...
He's getting paid handsomely.
Really?
Yep.
In bucks?
Bucks.
Okay.
And he can use the bucks as he pleases.
Okay.
I've made that very clear. In Utopia, you do a job, you should get paid for it.
Okay.
Yep.
And is he allowed to leave when he... No. Okay. Well,
yeah.
That's interesting.
Well, it's a work permit.
Right.
So I'm kind of at the deliverance.
So, but he doesn't have the free will to leave.
No, I mean, we've talked about it. Like, what's he going to do? He's not going to survive in the old world. He's clamp hands now.
Right.
He's not fit. He wasn't fit for that place in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not fit for that place in the first place. That's why we're here. We can talk. We can entertain the idea, the ideology of leaving the city. But again, it's a moot point because it's utopia. Everybody is happy.
Okay.
See?
Yep. Yeah. That makes sense. So I think the main thing to get into now is what would we call this newspaper?
Love it. I love naming things, and I am on board.
Mm-hmm.
You have twisted me enough, you know.
I'm glad,
because again, I told you, journalism in the old world I love because it's provocative and possibly saves us from the people who are abusing us, socially and literally figuratively. So in the new world, we don't have any of that abuse. So I'm like, why do we actually need journalism? Now that I thought about it, but the way you're explaining it now, perfect. I'm on board.
Yeah. What
should we name it? That's a very good question.
Yeah. A lot of places tend to go with names like the Times.
Yeah, it always
or the
is.
Gazette. I'm not sure what that. I don't even know what a Gazette is, if I'm honest.
I know a gazelle is like an animal.
Yeah, that's what I don't think that's what they're... A Gazette. Is that a little small part of a gazelle? Like an ant, you know? A little bit of...
Like an egg. A gazelle egg. Gazette.
Gazette.
I see that. I don't care for that either. And I don't want to make up words when the whole thing is about objectively commenting on the world around you.
Right. Would you want to use any of the slang, perhaps, to...
Oh, kind of like Josh's thoughts. I've got a green light on my house.
Mm-hmm. Green light district? The Green Light District Times.
Green Light District Times.
Green Light Times?
Green Times.
Green Times? Does your city have a name?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
No, we've collectively agreed to kind of put that on the back burner.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, bigger things at play.
Okay.
Like talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Seems pretty important.
Yeah, I would say so.
Pretty crazy that you're here, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty important. So.
Yeah, you're great. You're great.
So are you.
Thank you. And it's fun. This is fun. We're building a city. We're trying to make up a name for a journal that I haven't even approved yet, to be frank. Well, so it's a paper version.
I mean, you know what they say? We built this city on rock and roll.
What are you referring to?
The song.
No, never heard it.
We built this city on
We built this city on. Sorry, what was it?
rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Is that the lyric?
I don't know what you're referring to.
I honestly,
Are you talking about music?
yeah,
We built this city on rock. Sorry, and roll?
in roll, yeah.
Rock and roll.
So it's like the roll of rock.
You're between a rock and a hard place right now, Alistair. Let's talk about this song of yours right now. We built this city on. Sorry, what was
Is
it?
this? I think I'm making this up.
What? What are you referring to?
Honestly, I'm not sure what's. I thought you would be able to answer that.
I don't know what you're
Song
talking
is-
about. There's a song out there called "We Built a City"
Yeah,
on rock and roll.
is that not the lyric?
I literally have never heard tell of it. Give me the melody.
It's like we built this city. We built this city on. I think that's
Rock and roll.
Yeah, there you go. You got it.
No, I was just picturing what it would sound like in my head. I don't think that's a
Oh.
real thing, dude.
Oh,
Is it a big hit?
I mean, it's in my head, so I feel like probably. But just
Really?
that lyric,
We
I could not tell you anything else about it. Just that it's.
Would that be a chorus?
I
We
mean,
built this city.
if that's not a song already, I should probably go out and write this song.
Well, I feel like I should own this song. We built. Sorry. Okay. Oh, right. It's like we built this city on rock
Yeah,
and roll.
and roll, like you're rolling around.
Is
in
this
the
like a
mud,
new
like
song?
A dog.
Like a hip, like Migos? Is this Migos?
No.
We built this city.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask my I gotta call Evan in for this one.
Yeah.
Evan. Sorry, he's busy.
Oh. Okay.
But I don't believe you. I don't know what this song is.
All right. I think we're getting sidetracked. We're going for a name of a publication. here.
Alistair, I'm messing with you.
Oh God.
The song is "We Built the City on Rock and Roll." Yes,
Okay. Jesus.
it's one of the most popular songs.
Gaslighting me right now.
Yes, but you know what I did? You know why I did that? Because I saw you crumble, man. You started guessing You started guessing the existence of one of the most famous songs of all time. Freebird. Does Freebird actually exist? If I'm going to have journalists in my goddamn city, they better have some backbone. You were like, does water is wet? What is water?
I mean, it doesn't have to be me. The citizen.
Oh, you're out. You're out. You because you sang a song that literally everybody knows. And then I gave you one thing, and you were like, "Oh, maybe it doesn't exist." Alistair, what's going on? Do you have strong opinions? You got backbone?
I think that's a good thing about being a journalist, though, is you shouldn't be too stuck in your ways about any one thing. So
That's a very good point.
turn it around on you there.
You did turn it around very well. Okay, Alistair, I'll buy it.
Still
Okay.
need a name for this, though.
Let's think of a name for the zine. What do we call it? Do we call it a journal rather?
I think a
journal.
journal is good. Yeah.
Clamp times. No.
That's what I was thinking.
Clamp, something with clamp
I mean, how involved is Evan going to be in the journal?
in the process. I mean, I'm sure he'll be a character people are going to want to interview.
Right.
Like, you know, in every newspaper, there's like Ask the Citizens, and there's like a picture of someone's face.
Yeah.
They'll just have a picture of his clamp hands, and his answer will just be
Right. I
something
mean,
stupid.
he could even. I mean, the clamps sound like they could potentially be useful in the printing process.
Or in the binding process,
exactly,
at least.
yeah. So
Okay.
putting clamps in there is a good idea.
I think I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Little clamps that keep the paper together.
Yeah.
Well, we do have a garden now. We have a French bunker.
Mm-hmm.
They have their own section in the paper as well.
Yeah.
Do you want that? Do you want culture?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you accept culture?
Yep.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. That would be nice if every newspaper had a culture section.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think most newspapers do.
I think they do, yeah. Arts and culture.
I think that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll lay it out. We got sports in this paper.
Yep.
Rathball.
Yep.
Art and culture. We've got French bunker plus the art gallery.
Yeah.
What else do we need? News. Just general news about the city. What's coming in.
Yep.
What shipment's coming in.
Yep.
Right?
You have a classified section, people
Selling
stuff.
We have nothing really to sell, though.
I mean,
We literally have nothing to sell.
right. Okay. Well, for
What would-
later then, that'll be
Maybe.
obituary. Well, no one's died yet,
No one's
but
died
potentially
yet.
that could be an insert.
Yeah.
You could have advertisements, of course, and you could have
That's a good idea. I like advertisements. Comics?
comics. Sure, if
usually
anybody's comically inclined.
No one in the city yet is funny.
Okay.
Humor's not a part of my city,
No.
for good or bad. I mean, I think humor has its place for sure in society.
I mean, I did probably not, but
Yeah.
we can get into that later.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I don't want to. I believe comedy brings collusion
Yeah, like
Right.
with Russia. So.
with Russia.
Mm-hmm.
That's some old world stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Um.
You want to talk about that stuff? Because would you say journalism has its role in what's going on?
Oh, absolutely.
With Trump, with Russia,
Mm-hmm.
with the collusion.
Yeah.
I said the word collusion. That's what made you think of this, right?
Yeah.
That's a dangerous word.
It is.
I feel like this
It
whole
is.
thing has kind of taken that word.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, what's going on with Trump?
Well, I don't. What's going on with Trump? I mean, that's the big question, isn't it?
I don't care about that. What is journalism's role? Do you feel it's been important?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So it's been attacked in the old world quite a bit. You know, on almost daily basis, you have this idea of fake news, which realistically is just news that the president of the United States does not care for.
Right.
Any news that he does not like, he calls fake, which is actually kind of changing the definition of fake.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But essentially something is going on there, you know, whether it how much influence that had over the result of that election remains to be seen, but the investigation is happening. But a lot of the information that's being distributed to the public is coming through journalists. So
Right.
so people talking to each other in the White House, the leaks that are coming out of there are doing an important service. They're telling the public what exactly is going on, as opposed to what the administration there is projecting is
Yes.
going on.
Yes.
So
That makes sense.
Yeah, getting the truth out. It's very important.
Do you
right
feel
now.
like a leak is necessary? Because Clamp Hands would be a leak. He'd be my Julian Assange in a second. You see that guy? He's gonna falter.
Yeah.
Is that important?
Well, I think it's not so much.
Like a spy almost?
You don't necessarily need the people to leak information. You know, it depends how readily accessible that information is. Because if you have a government that's being transparent all the time,
Right.
then you don't need people to leak because there's nothing to leak. Because
Transparency.
Exactly.
I did this that was kind of sketchy. Here's what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the main thing that journalism ensures that people are being transparent, you know, because even if you are giving a bunch of information, you want a journalist to go over that to make sure that you're getting the whole picture there rather than just, you know, making sure things aren't being left out.
What does Edward Snowden say when he has to use the washroom?
What does he say?
I got to take a leak. I kind of had to get that out of the system. That's very important.
What does Julian Assange say when he needs to take a leak?
Can I sexually assault you first?
I was gonna say, can I get out of this Ecuadorian embassy?
Oh yeah, that's what's happening, right?
Yeah, I think that's where he is.
I think it's Ecuador. That stems to like a weird sex thing, right? Didn't he do something bad?
Yeah, or he's being framed for it. That's
the whole collusion. Can we use that word?
It's hard
again?
to tell exactly what's going on with him.
We need the journalist to tell the real truth.
Yeah.
And I love that. I do. And I think what we will do with this journal, we'll come up with a name. We haven't named it yet. We'll think of a name in a second. But I think what we're going to need to do is keep it at bay. I have transparency. People can come to me with questions. We will sit down. I'll have broadcast even.
Mm-hmm.
Your fun little journalist types, your bright-eyed little people, you'll come up here and we'll talk and I'll tell you the real deal. I'll shoot the shit, if you will. You can take it to your little newspaper. I'm open arms. You're right. I have nothing to hide.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm on board.
All right.
You got me on board.
That's good. That's good. Well, we'll see if you have nothing to hide.
Nothing to hide.
Okay.
At all. Have you met a lot of journalists? Obviously, your mother is one, but
yeah.
What do you feel like there must be a common trait in a journalist?
I would say...
is it just strive for accurate information? Is it a strive for, as you said, literature?
I'd say just curiosity is the biggest thing.
Curiosity.
Yeah. Because my mom she's a science journalist now, but first she got her PhD in zoology, ornithology.
Right.
So she went all through school just doing, taking, like she originally was in school for music, and she moved into science, got her master's, got her PhD, and I think it all just came from like a thirst for knowledge,
Quest
basically.
Of knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. So that's something that's very common among journalists is wanting to know more. Yeah,
that's good, and plus have the articulation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So would your mother have taken any English kind of minors or anything to learn how to write properly? I guess you got to do that by trade anyway. In the science.
In sciences, it's not always the case. Like not all scientists can be great writers, but it's kind of like a mix. Not all English majors would make good journalists either. Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of finding that balance. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. What's something you're proud of
that I've written? Or
yeah.
I actually recently or last summer there was a sort of fake news scandal in Victoria.
Oh.
So they were trying to the city council was trying to make it more difficult for people to have Airbnbs.
Right, I remember there was a fake news thing. Lisa Helps, our mayor.
Yeah, so there was a fake news article that went out from an online news, not exactly news source, where they accused her of running an Airbnb herself.
Yes, I remember that.
And I had to do quite a bit of investigating to figure out what the situation was. Mm-hmm. Turned out she was renting a loft in a house, and the people who lived in the house itself were running an Airbnb.
Yes.
And she seemed to be friends with the landlord and the landlord's daughter, but the fake news insinuated they were in a relationship.
Mm-hmm. Kind of in cahoots, releasing this Airbnb.
Yeah, in cahoots running this Airbnb, and that there was this idea that she was profiting off of it. But really, from what I investigated, she just rented this house. Those people happened to run an Airbnb.
Right.
She had a landlord-tenant relationship. Perhaps they were friends, but that's
a byproduct.
Exactly.
Did you release this as an article?
Yeah, so I wrote about this. I interviewed the mayor herself. Yeah. I kind of dismantled this fake news article, line by line, trying to get the real information out there. And I think I did a fairly good job.
From one mayor to another, thank you for getting to the bottom of it. That is good. What's funny though about that is me, a common guy who's busy. I work a lot. I do a lot of things. I read that first article. Lisa Helps is, putting out Airbnbs and profiting while she's letting people live in tents, etc. Mm-hmm. You see that first article, you're like, oh, strike against Lisa Helps, the mayor, move on with my day. Yeah. Often, those follow-up articles, such as the one you have written, you wrote, I never saw.
Right.
So like a lot of us still have that same first article in our head.
Yeah.
That's troubling. But a good journalist like yourself, you got to the bottom of it. That's very cool.
Yeah. So I think another thing to ensure with the newspaper in your city is to ensure that they have a code of ethics.
Code of ethics, which would be?
Which would be, I mean, I don't want to get too much into the specifics. I don't want to just dictate what the code of ethics would be, but that would be, just to ensure that the information is fact checked, make sure that it's accurate.
Yes.
Make sure that there's no biases coming into play.
Interesting.
And making sure that sources are verified.
I'm 100% on board. Sources are huge. Fact check, absolutely. There's a couple things here. These code of ethics are great, and I support them. They can also be containing, I'm sure. Like Watergate, I know they had to break some for that. And also, you see that movie Spotlight?
Yeah.
About the Catholic...
No, I haven't watched that, actually.
But yeah, a bunch of journalists kind of uncovered this crazy, gross molestation trail. And I know they had to go outside the realms of ethics. But you think important ones would be, what about privacy of whom you're interviewing? If they don't want to be... Can people do that?
It actually, the laws about consent to be recorded vary depending where you are.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's making laws right now, baby.
So
what should I have? What do you think works best for the public?
I think in BC actually the law is if one out of the two parties consents to be recorded, then you're allowed to record.
One of the two.
So yeah. So
just the interviewer.
Yeah. Unless the person states that it's you have to like. Honestly, I should have looked into.
No,
this
well, that's a good
but,
question, right?
Yeah, that's just what I have heard from my mom. So,
well, like having a wire on you is one thing, right? To like record without consent is usually just for police records and stuff.
Yeah. I know you can do that as just a regular citizen. I don't know about publication though.
Yeah, publication's another thing, right?
Yeah.
I'd be curious about that. What I will say now is for my own productive reasons, I believe when you're doing an interview, you have to consent for all this information to be released. If you're doing a provocative, that makes no sense. How are you going to break ground with that?
Well, I
don't know how to get that one.
Well, a lot of it comes from interviewing techniques, right?
Okay.
If you're talking to someone and you're just having like a surface level conversation, then you're not going to get that much information out of them. But if you really try to push them on certain things, then sometimes that information can come out. Sometimes, as a reporter, people will ask to go off the record.
Off the record, of course.
Right?
Yes.
So that's something that you can still.
You
can't say that they said something.
Yeah.
But you can still kind of maybe use the information that they give you to influence the story in some way.
So if someone were to say off the record, you press stop on your recorder,
right?
Say some shit.
So you can't quote them on any of that information.
You can't quote them, which is important. You can't quote them, but you can kind of put it in a bit, yeah.
Like, yeah, you can't definitively state whatever they are telling you, but you can, obviously that can influence perhaps like future interviews that you have.
Interesting. What I'd be concerned about is protection of the citizens, as well as kind of releasing whatever incriminating stuff is happening in my city. So I think I would like consent on both parties. I think that would be nice, because you also have to think about, I have a spy network that works outside of consent laws, so we can work hand in hand. So that's not going to be a problem.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll get what we want. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I run the spy network. But,
okay.
Interesting. Okay. That's pretty good.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we still need the name.
Green light.
The green light?
The green light.
Green light times? Green light.
You want to add a suffix.
I think so. Just so people don't get the newspaper confused for an actual green light
that they see every night in their windows.
Yeah.
Shining down.
Why do you have that, by the way?
Great Gatsby.
Oh, I see.
And the green light's just like a symbol of power, but also fragility.
Oh.
And
that's great.
Yeah.
The green light times.
No, the green light times. Times is kind of, I don't know if I like times. A little pretentious, quite frankly.
Green Light Gazette.
Don't we hate Gazette?
I mean, it's like an egg from a gazelle. Is that what we're
That's
going
what
with?
we go
Right.
with.
So, I mean, that's just... I feel like that symbolizes journalism in a way.
Mocking something, then stealing it?
No.
The Green Light Gazette?
Well, say a gazelle laid an egg.
Yeah.
You'd want to put that in a newspaper.
You'd want to comment on it.
So Gazette.
Gazette.
You want to put that in a newspaper.
You like that, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Green Light Gazette.
Yeah.
Well, that is kind of nice, actually.
Yeah.
The Green Light Gazette. Prestigious, of course.
Mm-hmm. It sounds good.
I'm on board.
Okay.
How many people should be writing?
Well, how many people in the city right now?
50 plus 1 with Evan.
Right. Okay.
51. They're all bright.
Yeah.
Different cultures, different genders.
I'd say it just depends how many you want to hire good people.
Good people.
So
There's 2 I don't like, and that's it.
right.
They're out.
Okay.
Yeah, a little biased.
Okay. Well, like I said, we don't want you to be in charge of this.
Okay.
So this should be a separate entity. So
Okay.
once it's established,
Sure.
I think you're going to want to, you could perhaps pick someone to be in charge of it.
Yep.
Whether that's Evan, whether that's someone else.
Whoever it is, yeah.
Pick someone to be in charge. Then they could do the hiring. And from then on, it would be, chosen from within itself, whoever's going to be the next editor.
Hey, I'll let the citizens run wild.
Exactly.
Citizens, you talk amongst yourselves. Pick a couple people. If you want to get this going seriously, you just have to, you make it. You run it by me. Just run the first draft by me. I'll do a light edit.
Well, I don't know about that.
Oh, well, it needs to be an editor.
Right. So you'd pick someone to be the editor.
Oh, I wouldn't be an editor because
Yeah.
I would have a bias.
Yeah.
Right. Can I pick the editor?
I'd say you could pick the first editor.
Okay.
And then from there on, he would go on to pick the next one, the next.
Right.
But I
So
think
anyway,
it's
guys.
dangerous to have too much influence.
Yeah. By technicality, I'll be editing the first issue. And I'm very excited because I think this is going to be important. I think this is going to change the landscape of our city.
Mm-hmm.
I think commenting on it. And also, journalism, you are archiving. You are stating how the world is at a specific time and place. We're looking back at the library records of 1853. There's a guy talking about his day.
Yeah.
It's a nice piece of business to have in your world.
Yeah.
This is also an archive thing.
Mm-hmm.
State
Exactly.
How good the city has been since it started. Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've done a great thing.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad I won you over.
You won me over, Alistair. I couldn't thank you enough. At first,
Yeah.
I mean, to this day, I don't know, man. I don't know if I buy it, your whole deal, but I like the journalism thing. I need someone to talk to me, and you seem like the right guy to bring it.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, Green Light Gazette.
Yeah.
You like that?
I like that.
Yeah. It doesn't particularly matter what you think, but nevertheless, did you have a fun time in the city?
I did. I feel like I should shake your hand. I mean,
No, not really.
not really?
No, I think what you're going to do is you're going to go down with the citizens.
Okay.
You're going to go hang out with them. I'm going to kind of hang out up here.
Okay.
It was fun meeting you and everything. Just
Yeah.
not in the mood, quite frankly.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you'll have a great time.
All right.
First bus out in the morning.
Okay.
Clamp Hands has your luggage.
Oh, does he?
Yeah,
Okay.
attached to his hands. I just saw him walk by with them.
Oh, okay.
He's shaking them off. He couldn't get rid of them.
Oh.
They get stuck in the clamps. But yeah,
How am I gonna get those out of his clamps?
tug.
Tug.
Yeah.
Just give him a nice tug.
Good tug. He'll get weird about it.
Yeah.
He thinks you're fighting him when you do it. It's like, dude, your hands are stuck to my things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'd be fine, though.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll have a good night.
All right.
Enjoy the bar. Do you drink?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Well, that's surprising. You're
Probably a little too much.
kind of a nerd, so I was kind of surprised you drank. But it's been pleasant, Alistair. Thank you for bringing journalism to my city.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. God bless. Citizens, I couldn't be happier with myself and what we've done here today. Get those hands ready. Get those hands ready to subscribe to the Green Light Gazette. Kind of a bullshit name when I say it out loud. Kind of a bad name, but I'm sticking to it. Green Light Gazette. It's for our city. It's for you. It's for me. We're going to talk about Wrathball. We'll give out the Wrathball scores. All the hits and misses of the game. If you couldn't make it, read about it the next day. Hey, what about those recipes? What about those chickpeas? We're crushing them up. I've seen some citizens do some weird things with those chickpeas, and I want to talk about it in print. We're going to do that, okay? We could have a weekly interview with me. We're going to figure this out. I think free press is good. All press is good. No press is good press, etc. And I'm very happy to announce I am the first editor of the Greenlight Gazette. I'm very proud of that position, and I hold it very closely and dearly to my heart, and I will never abuse that. Not once. That's not going to happen. That's a crow. There's a crow. You have crows now? Alright, citizens. This has been fun. I need to let you go. I have a lot to do. I'm the mayor of a goddamn city. I hope you guys are doing well. Take care. I'm your mayor. Take care.
Like a disease taking over my body. The thought of you is eating me alive. How will I survive without you here by my side? I just can't get you out of my mind. When I look into your eyes, I become hypnotized. When I look into your eyes,
Un, deux. Est-ce que quelqu'un m'entend? Si quelqu'un m'entend, s'il vous plaît, envoyez-nous de l'aide. Ceci est le citoyen.